Hey guys, it's Dr. Tracy here, and here's a quick video just to walk you through what you should be doing this week in CISGAME 403. So I sent out an announcement, and in that announcement I kind of spelled out everything that you should be working on. I do that every week, so if you ever are concerned, you're not sure, you can always check the announcements and see what's happening. So last week the assignment was to get a little comfortable with Python. And from here on out, we're going to be working with Python. And luckily, we have this nice, cool, free online textbook, so you didn't have to pay for that. This week, we're going to go through chapters 3 and 4. There's games in each one of those programs, and part of your project will be to save each one of those games. So if you look at the writing programs page, you can see that there is a link to each chapter. There is the topics that are covered. There are some additional resources. On some of them, I posted the solution. Not all of them, but so when we go over 3 and 4, that means I want you to read these chapters, and I've given you the link so that you can read these chapters. And I want you to be able to know and understand import statements, modules, the random function, for statements, blocks, string, int, float functions, booleans, comparison operators, conditions, the difference between set equal to and is equal to, statements, break statement, escape characters, single quotes, double quotes, and end keyword in print to skip new lines. So all of that stuff is what's going to be covered this week. And I can go over it briefly as we hit up the chapter. At the end of the chapter, you will be left with a program that is some kind of a game. For chapter 3, it's a guess the number game. For chapter 4, it's a joke telling program. And as you see, Dragon Realm and Hangman, and we're going to get into some other ones. All of these games you will submit for your assignment, but all together, not in one. Project 3, Python games, is going to include each one of those games, but I've given you a change you should make to it. So I'm not going to ask you to turn them in. You'll have the program, but you want to make these changes as are specified. And you're going to have till October to be able to finish all of this. All of these games come directly from the book that is Invent with Python. So if we go to the Invent with Python page, which is very simply inventwithpython.com, and when you type in inventwithpython.com, it takes you to this page, which shows you how to invent your own computer games with Python. Each one, you can buy the book on Amazon. You can buy it in print if you want it in print, but all of the book is online. So as it says chapter 3 and 4, these are where these links came from. When you look at chapter 3, hold on just one second. When you look at chapter 3, this whole chapter is based on a guess the number game. So it says in this chapter, we're going to make this game. The number will think of a secret from 1 to 20 and ask the user to guess it. After each guess, the computer will tell the user whether the number is too high or too low. And if the user wins, they can guess the number within 6 tries. All right, so how is that done? Well, it's done using all of these topics that are listed here. And the way that each chapter is laid out, it starts with showing you the program, telling you what it's going to do, and then breaking down each of the pieces. So here's a sample run of what the program will do when it's completed. And here is some sample code. Now, they've given you all the code right here. And in each of these pieces, it's showing some statements that are going to then, beneath it, give more detail. But I will explain it right now, and then you can see the detail for yourself. On line 1, and obviously when you write a program, you don't line them. The line numbers are here so that we can talk about them. On line 1 is a comment. It starts with a hashtag, meaning it's ignored by the interpreter. The next one is import random. There's a whole discussion that I've assigned this week about imports, about the random module. When you put in an import statement, and as you'll see, it says down here, the import statement is instructions that perform some action. And so when we use an import statement, we're pulling in a module that has functions that we'll be able to use later. There's all kinds of stuff that you can import into Python so that it does more things. And then the question is, why don't we just import everything? Because we don't want our programs to be huge, so we only import the stuff that we need when we need it. This program needs us to be able to use a random integer function, so it has to have an import random statement. On line 4, guess is taken is a variable set to 0. Then it says print, hello, what is your name? That'll appear on the screen. My name will be set equal to whatever the result of that input is. Then it creates a number using the random module, which is the object that was created upon import, dot randint, which is a function that's going to find a random integer between 1 and 20. So in line 9, you're using exactly what you imported by the statement that's on line 2. So number equals random.randint 1, 20. So then it says, well, whatever you typed in for your name, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 20. Now we're using a for loop. And in this for loop, and every time you have a loop with Python, you indent all the statements that will be executed in that whatever amount of times the for loop is set for. In this case, it says for guess is taken in range 6. That means we're going to try this 6 times. It will print take a guess. Here's another use of comments on that line, line 13, to say there's 4 spaces in front of print. The 4 spaces in front of print are because we indent or we show that the print statement is part of the for loop. And there's 4 spaces in front of each one of those lines on down to 24. When the for loop is over, it goes back out to the left-hand side. The guess is equal to their input. Then you see there's an int function. That means whatever that they put in, you have to change it to an integer because it's automatically a string, and a string is not an integer, and we have found a random integer, so we need it to have their guess be an integer as well. So then we have a number. If the guess is less than the number, it'll say it's too low. And again, you see more indents. The print statement that is under the if statement is indented to show that that's the statements that are executed if and only if that condition is true. The guess is less than the number. If the guess is not less than the number, that will never be executed. If the guess is greater than the number, it will print your guess is too high. And if the guess is equal to the number. Okay, 2 equal signs means is equal to. When you put a single equal sign, like up here, that's an assignment operator, meaning anything that is on the right side will be set equal to the value on the left. But 2 equal signs is called it is a Boolean condition, and it's called is equal to, and that's saying that this value and this value are the same, and it returns true or false. So if the guess is equal to the number, it will break. Break means, okay, our for loop is going 6 times, but if it runs across a break statement, that's just like, okay, stop right now, we're done. If you never hit a break statement, then it will do this 6 times. This is a loop. But as soon as you hit a break statement, it'll go down here. So they put in a number, and it's either too high, too low, or exact. If it's exact, it'll go down to the next line. But if it's too high or too low, it'll try again. Take a guess, until 6 times is up. They still don't get the number, then it will go down here. At the point that it gets down there, if the guess is equal to the number, it says, you win, you're awesome. And if it's not equal to the number, they say, nope, this was the number I was thinking of. So now when you look, you could type all that code in and make sure that it works. And I think that's where I would start. Start by putting in the program and making sure that you can get it to work by this code. And then take a look at each one of the lines to ensure that you understand what is happening on those lines. And if you don't, you have this nice little explanation going line by line about the random int function and the print statement that's going to greet the player, the for loops that will repeat the code, the grouping so that you can show the spaces that belong to which if statement and which belong to for statement, the looping with the for statements, a break statement, which takes you out of a loop if you need to, the int, float, and string functions, which convert the values, and Boolean data types that result in true statements, like the is equal to statement of 2 equal signs. So that's a lot of stuff in here, and it's a lot to learn and go through. And so that will take you through chapter 3, guess the number. Have fun.